Months ago, I was extremely frustrated with the inability to be able to get consistent, repeatable top layers. If you held something at arm's length, it might look okay, but if you brought it up close for analysis, it wouldn't look so great. There could be holes, crevices, scratches, and as you can see with this motorcycle, I've got a lot of that going on the top. What I used to do is that I would try to design around things. I would try to do a workaround. I'd use the bottom layer as my top, so I'd create my design so that this is a surface that would show. And even it wasn't always perfect. So I also came up with ways of getting rid of the top layer and using the infill to be able to create a pattern so that you wouldn't see the holes and crevices, etc., would not be so obvious. So I think this is really cool. I think it's a lot of fun. It was a neat discovery at the time, but I've now gotten to the point where I can create consistent top layers at arm's length. You can't really see any lines. The piece is definitely smooth. When I turn it into the light, that's when you'll start to be able to see the lines of the prints, but there's no holes, nooks, crevices, and crannies. And let's face it, 3D printing, I don't think it's ever going to be as perfect as molding parts, but it could definitely improve. I'm just going to share another example with you of the fact that I actually can create repeatable top layers. And here you have two identical calibration cubes, and the top layer is fantastic on this in comparison to some of what I had in the past. And so today I'm going to be sharing the settings that I use in order to be able to get this quality of top layer. Before I do that though, I also just wanted to share one other thing. I've been experimenting with Idea Maker. Idea Maker is a slicer that allows you to be able to place patterns and textures onto surfaces. So this is a Punisher pattern that has been put onto the cube. Now the thing is that with this Idea Maker, if it's a flat top surface, it won't put the pattern on it. So I started experimenting with putting the piece on an angle, because if it doesn't have a flat top, Idea Maker will put the pattern all over the piece. So I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe if I tilt it, I'll be able to start to get the pattern. And although in the orientation I showed you a second ago, you couldn't see it, when I start to tilt it, you'll see that the pattern is there very, very lightly. So I'm experimenting with trying to find the right angle to see if I can get that pattern to emerge on that top layer. And of course, on the bottom here is just an angled draft that you'd break away. The thing is, for me, that if you want to be able to get consistent results, there's some basics that you have to cover. The first one is that you've got to calibrate your E-steps. Without doing that, the demand will be for inconsistent feed of filament, and the same thing goes for the flow. So number one, calibrate the E-steps. Number two, calibrate the flow. Then the next thing would be to tune the retraction settings for your printer, and then learn how to adjust the Z offset so that you get a good first layer. It's critical to be able to get that first good layer, because you're going to be building on that to the top layer. Alright, so now we're going to go through the slicer settings that I used in order to be able to get such a smooth top. Some of what I am applying I learned from Chep, so a big thanks goes out to him. I'm going to go through some of the settings, but you have to bear in mind that not everything will be easily visible here on the screen. Some of it will, and some of it you're going to have to actually test and try out on your printer as you make the different adjustments. The cool thing about it is that you can lower this down into the plate and slice it, so you don't have to print the whole cube to test out. You can test out from a certain layer here, and that's pretty easy to do. You just come over here and you're going to do a negative number. This is a 20 by 20 by 20 millimeter cube. You'd put negative 15, and you're only going to print the top 5 millimeters to be able to test out the settings that I'm about to show you. So you can see that I've already sliced it. It's here for me to be able to give you some visibility as we walk through it. And I'm not going to go through all of the settings, but I am going to just click them periodically to let you know that most of the time this is the quality settings that I use. It's a 0.4 nozzle that I've gone on board, and I've gotten great results in this area. Occasionally I'll go to a much finer detail, but it's very rare that I do that. We're going to be playing around a lot inside the wall settings, and I highly recommend that you decide how many walls you want. Whatever your print might be, you need to look at it and analyze it over here and decide how many walls you want and then play with it. Now, I know there's a lot of people that say that you should print from the inside out, but honestly, all the testing that I've got done, I've gotten much better results from printing to the outside in. So here I am, I'm going to play around with lowering the wall count and have a look at, do I really need 2 walls on this print? And honestly, I really don't think so. So basically, like I said, this is back to the default settings that are on the Anycubic, and now I'm going to show you some of the things that I experiment with. So we're going to go to the top layer, top bottom layer, and although it is set to 0, I set this to 1, and if you look at what the description says, and I'm just going to slice it real quick. If you look at what the description says, the number of topmost skin layers, usually only one topmost layer is sufficient to generate higher quality top surfaces. So once I read that, I turned that on to 1. So that means that it's supposed to give me a better quality on the top layer here. So something that I feel is very important to discuss just quickly related to the infill is the pattern that it lays down underneath. So this is the default of cubic, and I've got it set to a 20% infill, but if I pull down and I look inside, that's a very coarse pattern. And of course we're trying to lay down filament across, and anywheres where you're going to be jumping a big gap, to me, I think it's going to start to mess with how smooth the top layer is. So it doesn't add a lot of time to come over here and to change this to lines, and you can play around with any setting that you want. But if you have a look now, the gap that you have to bridge with the filament is much smaller, so we're going to be building up to a better quality top layer. Something to analyze. Sometimes you may want to add more top layers, and you can do that in the settings in the top and bottom here. But one of the things that I learned from Chep was to use what is called monotonic setting. So monotonic top bottom order. And so what this is doing is it is changing the way that the top layer will be printed out. Now you can play around with changing things up and slicing it and then hitting the play button over here so that you can see the way that it lays down the pattern. And I don't think it's important for all the layers below the top surface, but it's definitely something worth looking at on the top layer. So another item that you might want to consider looking at is the angle at which the filament is laid down, and it's very easy to experiment with the top and bottom line directions right here because you're basically entering degrees. So if I change it to 0 and I slice it, it has now taken the lines vertical, so you can have a look at the gaps, etc., to say like, oh look, there's a cavity right there, so how's that going to play out, that small cavity right there, versus taking this over here and changing it to 90 degrees and then slicing it. Well, now the lines are going to be horizontal, so if we look in, there's a significant gap in here. So that's something that you want to play with as you're printing it. And I ended up using this pattern. There's more details related to the filling in of the top layer, and one of them is going to be the crevice in between this wall and this wall right here. The setting for that is outer wall inset, and so you just type it into the search bar here and it's going to bring it up. So the outer wall inset is right here. Right now it's set to 0, and according to Chep, you put it to half your nozzle width. So that's what I did, and I'm going to slice it, and you're going to be able to actually see the difference. It actually closed the gap between, and I'm just going to shift this a little bit, it closed the gap in between the red line and the yellow line. So it's filling that in. The next item that we want to look at is we're going to want to look at the percentage of overlap. The skin overlap percentage right now is set to 10%, and I'm going to change it to 30, just like Chep does. I'll slice it, so that means that we're going to have filament overlapping each other to try to fill in any nooks and crannies around the edges. And like I said, this won't always necessarily give you a perfect visual, but you can see the bottom of the Z here improve with that change, setting change. So I encourage you to play around with this, print just the very, very top portion, get the hang of it, and then you can use it to apply to any other top flat surfaces that you want to print. This made a huge improvement to my prints. So I'm going to share some video links up the top. One will be to calibrating your E-steps, the other one is going to be to calibrating your flow, but my channel has the other videos that I mentioned earlier to how to tune the retraction settings on your printer and how to adjust the Z offset for a good first layer. Anyways, I hope it helps. Happy printing, and let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching.